back from adversity, now you got to actually give hope to others. So I set my sight on Diverse Issues in Higher Education magazine, people I had never known, never met, and I emailed the associate editor, I want your last word. As the final page on the back of that magazine, I want the last word, and I want to talk about STEM. And my title was 5 Ways that Educators Can Help Young Women Succeed in STEM Fields. And she agreed. It actually appeared in the July edition of Diverse Issues in Higher Education. This is how Dr. Michael Lomax found me on Twitter. What you put out, people will begin to follow you on Twitter and on Facebook because they want to know what is it that you've experienced and how can we learn from it. The key part of my article was on mentoring. That's one thing that I've done consistently since I've been here at EKU, mentoring. I have not set a cap on how many students I'll mentor. Why? Because there's so many students that will come to me at any point in time and I need to be prepared to assist them. How many people go up the chain of command and forget that they came through a road that other students are going through, and now we don't have time? That's not how this works. That's not how servant leadership works. You see, when you go up the track, you need to come back down because there's other students who can benefit from what you're doing. Every single summer, I have this distinguished pleasure of working with Upper Bound. My supervisor is actually in the audience. Every single summer, I have an opportunity to work with these young people. Why? Because one day, they will be standing in my shoes. I have no issue stepping aside for other young people because that's what it's about. It's about sharing. It's about passing it around. Education is not exclusive just for one person. It's exclusive for everybody. So one of my greatest accomplishments has been that particular article. And knowing that in that article, I gave some people some hope. Because you notice the caption is diverse. There's a lot of diverse faculty who need hope. There's a lot of them who need encouragement and who need to know that no matter where you are, your voice is valid. What you have to say matters. And you can bring hope into someone else's life, including a student. Okay? STEM education is one of those fields that's very, very hard. I remember many days when I took math classes at Wayne State that I would just sit there and just wonder, like, when are we going to be done with this degree? Because it's a process. It's a process. A lot of millennials are in the popcorn generation. We want our popcorn done in 2.5 minutes. Education doesn't work like that. Your associate's degree is 2 years. Bachelor's is 4 to 5 in most cases. Master's, 1 and 2. Doctorate, that was the longest engagement and commitment that I had actually given. It took me 5 years to complete my doctorate at UK. And even there, I experienced challenges. But I'm thankful for my dissertation advisor, Dr. Ma, who happened to be a diverse faculty, who took me under my wing, under his wing, and really said, you know what, I'm going to help you get through. And he helped. And when I say he helped, every single morning at 4 a.m., I got an email from him. Antoinette, are you awake? No. No. But the way he works on 5-hour intervals. He's working with different doctoral students at a time. What does that mean? When he sends me an email at 4 o'clock, I need to be up by 8 sending him a response. Because this man is going to be the final signature that I'll need to graduate. You notice there's a lot of final signatures that you need. These are the people you need to get to know. Quote from Diverse. This is actually from the Diverse article that I read. Going through each degree, it was more and more intense. It does not get easier as you go up. It gets more intense. It becomes a weed-out process. For those who cannot handle the intensity, you're weeded out, and other students are brought in. I was determined that based on how I was raised, I would not be weeded out because I knew I couldn't come back to my parents' home without those degrees. And that's degree 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? After each and every degree, my parents said, what's next? Wait a minute, Dad, I thought we were done. No, when are you going for your master's? We need to start thinking about going to colleges. We need to start thinking about programs. After the master's, I thought I had hit the glass ceiling, and my father said, you really have. It's time to go back to school. So coming here to UK and being able to walk on UK's campus at a time when in the 70s, African Americans couldn't take classes there. It was nothing but a pleasure. It was a humbling experience. And I actually got the fellowship, which is Lyman T. Johnson's fellowship, because he was the person who fought for African Americans to have rights, rules, and privileges at the University of Kentucky. So my time there was a treasure. The fact that I don't owe them a bill is an even greater treasure. As a woman in STEM, even though I am non-tenure track, I still work on the mindset of a tenure track faculty. You want to know why? Because one day that will be a reality. If you're working on the level you are right now, it will be hard for you to get to the next level. You need to start working on that next level. So I'm doing teaching, research, and service right now. That way when I get there, I don't have to start preparing. Okay? In terms of teaching, I teach all of my classes effectively. I'm on time. That's something that a lot of people have issues with, being on time. I do research, even though I do not have to do research for this position. Why? Because I love going to exotic locations and meeting with other researchers to tell them about my research. I love meeting other senior colleagues at conferences, and they're saying, we didn't know you traveled. We didn't know you had to do research. You see, I don't. But in your job, you have to do some things that may not be required to get you to the next level. I do believe that my teaching, research, and service helped me to get that third signature. Okay? Service, mentoring. Finding ways to mentor other people because there's issues on the university campus. How do we combat it? How do we make sure that the next African-American female that comes through here doesn't have this experience? Because everybody's not so fortunate. Some people bow out and say, I'll find a new job. I don't have to deal with this. Growing up, I've never been a quitter. My parents taught me excellence. This is how we raise our kids. And excellence means we got to do all these things to make sure we stay in this arena, opening the door for other African-American females and other minority females as well. Well, here we go again. Hawaii is on the horizon again. 2017 is on its way. The first week of January, I have my heart set on the sandy beaches of Honolulu. Well, still $1,900 cost. How much do I have? Got about $1,700 right now. $200, I can do that on my own. But I will be there in January doing 2 presentations, one on math education and the other on STEM education. Okay? Find ways to take yourself to the next level. Your imagination is a great part of it. If you do not imagine that you can be somewhere, you probably won't be. Look at Bill Gates. Look at Steve Jobs. Do they have college degrees? No, they don't. Did they have an imagination? Yes, they did. They had an imagination to be the greatest. Right now they are. Even though Steve Jobs is deceased, he still went to his rest as one of the greatest. Okay? Look at Muhammad Ali. Did he have a degree? No. Did he establish to be the greatest? Yes. Do we not call him the greatest? Yes, we do. Okay? And everything you want to do, if you want to be the greatest, look online and see who's doing it. And attempt to be that and then more. In my family, because we stress excellence, it has been a sheer joy. Every 2 to 3 years, we're going to graduation. Right now, we are planning for my sister's graduation in December. She will be the last doctor that will come through the family. This is what happens when you surround yourself with people with like minds. Okay? Both of my parents and my sister and I were in school at the same time, so we're encouraging each other. We're going through this walk called education together. And in the midst of it all, prayer. UK cost about $100,000 for 5 years. They covered the whole thing. How did that happen? We imagined it for 2.5 years. For 2.5 years, we prayed for the same thing. $100,000 to go to UK. My sister wanted to go to the University of Memphis at the same time. So we're asking out of the sky for $200,000 for 2.5 years. Okay? I have parents who are parents of faith, and I'm just sitting here thinking like, you know, Mom and Dad, I don't know. I'm not really sure. During this time, we were taking care of my gravely ill grandfather. And we were totally bent on the idea that we can do doctoral study anytime. Our goal was to take care of him. As it turns out, my sister got her paperwork in July. We laid my grandfather to rest in early July. So we were moving on. My sister got her paperwork in August. I got my paperwork a week before UK started. So that $200,000 came through. To this day, we still do not owe a bill to either of those institutions. If you imagine it, you can actually get there. Challenge number 6, expanding my brand beyond math for networking purposes. You cannot just do just one thing. You have to do multiple things because all of those need to be income streaming items. They always say where one thing doesn't work, others do. I had to build a website. And I learned how to build that website all on my own. It took me about 5 years to get it the way I wanted it to be. And it's done. It is DrAntoinetteMarie.com. And I have been working and pulling items together, and this actual presentation will be on there tonight. Maintaining social media. That is a joy of mine. As a millennial, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and I'm talking to people, meeting people, people that I never would have met in the regular walk of life. But on Twitter, you get people who follow you based on your taglines. What are your pound signs? Okay? Because I've said pound sign millennial, I think I've got a whole lot of followers. Because there's lots of millennials online. And we have all these great ideas, and some people don't want to hear our ideas. But we are on Twitter. And we matter on Twitter. Face-to-face conversations. How do you converse with people that you don't know and people you've never met? You say, hello, how are you? I'm Dr. Davis. How may I work with you? What institution are you from? When I was in Hawaii, at the end of my presentation, I met a gentleman who looked just casual. He said, hey, I'm Dr. So-and-so. Are you looking for a job? Are you kidding me? He said, are you looking for a job? Because we just hired some math educators, and we want to know, do you need a job? See, I came prepared to do the presentation. I hadn't come prepared for an interview. Opportunities. Sometimes you have to go across an ocean to get the opportunity, okay? Those face-to-face conversations have helped me to get to where I am. A lot of these speaking engagements, as there will be 3 of them this week, okay? Whatever you imagine, it will come through in a big way. I have this presentation today. I have a presentation tomorrow. I have a presentation on Friday. Whatever you imagine, when it comes through, you need to be prepared, okay? I have a future presentation scheduled at Tate's Creek High School. Presentations, whatever you imagine, it will come through, but are you prepared? These are my 4 children. Lessons on Church for Volume 1, 2. Life Lessons for Everyday People, and my walk from kindergarten through doctoral study is in the last book, Achieving the Ultimate Dream of Education. This is what I'm doing when I'm not teaching math, writing books. Why? Because these are income streaming items. You have to find other ways to market yourself outside of your major. Don't get me wrong, my major of math has gotten me quite a few opportunities to teach. However, I don't want to teach 24 hours a day. These are income streaming while I am sleeping. Okay? They are on Amazon. So at any point in time, anyone can get online or get on my Facebook or my Twitter and find those books. Okay? How do you create yourself outside of your major? You got to find a way to do it. Because one day, you may decide, I don't want to teach. Those books will be around forever. Okay? Challenge number 7. Being a millennial in a department of mostly boomers. And my parents are boomers. But I'm a millennial. As you know it, I do social media. Okay? Many of you probably saw the announcement earlier today about the presentation because I do social media, okay? Age difference. There's often a way that's different on how we think about things. We might process situations totally different. I may say I'm okay with conflict resolution. Someone else may say I'm fine with walking away from it, Okay? That's how you handle those age differences. You find a collective medium. Cultural differences. Being the only African American in